there, and welcome to another edition of History in Your Own Backyard. My name is Chrissy Morgan, and today we are at the Camp Dennison School in Sims Township, Ohio. This now is the Schoolhouse restaurant and is owned by the Miller family, siblings of the original owners. We have Chris, Jeff, and Beth. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for being here today. Let me ask you, Chris, a little bit about the history of the area. I know that the Civil War had been part of this, and that's what created Camp Dennison.
Yeah, at Camp Dennison, it was a Union military hospital during the Civil War. And it said that there were somewhere between 30, maybe to possibly to 50,000 troops came through the valley here during the Civil War. And that's right about the time, 1863, when they started building the school.
So the school was built in 1863. Was it for the children of the residents?
Yes.
Or of the area?
Yeah.
Interesting. And it's quite a large school for the area, I'm guessing.
It was supposed to be one of the first two-floor, two-room schools built in the Midwest. It was a new concept for back then. The kitchen, which is the other room behind us here, was the first to the fourth grades. The dining room, which we're in right now, was fifth through the eighth. And then if you go upstairs, the whole entire second floor is the original school auditorium. Big giant school stage at one end of the room, and balcony goes around it. We use it for our events that we do here now.
Interesting. Yeah. And how long was it a school for?
1860, built in 1863, shut up around 1950.
Around 1950. Was there wasn't electricity or water the whole time?
No, actually, the last renovation of the building, it was 1930, I think it's 1939 possibly. The WPA came through here. They had added the restrooms, they added the boiler, put in the heat, put in the electric, put in the water, and they got demolished the outhouses that were outside. So.
Oh, wow. So there were outhouses for all those children then. Interesting. And so it was the school till into the 50s, and then how did it become the ownership of your parents?
Yeah, like I said, it closed in the early 50s, and the building stayed vacant for about 10 years. And then our parents saw the building, and of course, mom liked to cook, and so they purchased the building in '61, and then they opened up the building in 1962. So just this past November, we've had the lights on for the past 60 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Do all of you remember being a part of this experience as they were turning it into a restaurant?
We definitely were all involved, either washing dishes or cleaning or any number of different chores through the years. Yeah.
Did it feel like a schoolhouse then when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean the original chalkboards are still up on the wall up in the front, so that's always been my sister does the handwriting now. My mom always used to do it, so they can write.
By the way.
We couldn't. Yeah, exactly. That's why she does it. Exactly. But yeah, it definitely had that feel all through the years, sure.
And has the menu been the same menu that your mom has cooked from the beginning?
It's evolved over the years, but we basically have the same family favorites that everybody's enjoyed for the past 60 years. But we're well known for our fried chicken and our roast beef and our corn fritters and just some basic comfort food.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes and, lots of sides, and welcome to Grandma's house for dinner.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The setup of the tables is interesting too, because we grew up with a big round table with a Lazy Susan in the middle of it. So when they developed the restaurant, they decided that would be the way to serve, the dinners here at the restaurant too.
I've never seen tables like this, so these are custom-made tables?
Our understanding is that my dad had them custom made back in the day, and he found an old gentleman who used to make Conestoga wagon wheels, and he used the same concept to build the tables with a metal strap around it, and they have held up for 60 plus years now, and they're in great shape still. So
absolutely,
so they knew what they were doing.
Fascinating. Oh, how fun! And then it does create that family-style experience. Mm-hmm. Where I'm assuming you do the sides and things on the Lazy Susan.
Everybody orders their entree, and then we bring the sides out. You don't get a choice of those, so you pick your protein.
And then swirl around for what you're interested in.
Help yourself, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating. Mm-hmm. So we've got the history of the school. Has the building changed much after the WPA came in?
No.
Now, the only thing we added on, I would imagine, in the 60s was the balcony upstairs. It was an open-air room. A theater. It has a full functioning theater stage, and now it has, we they added that on in a service kitchen. So I think that's basically the only thing they've changed through the years.
Wow. And how's the business going today?
Oh, busy.
It's busy. That's
it's busy.
fantastic.
We've got lots of old customers, lots of new customers, you know, young and old alike, and lots of memory customers. People come back because they remember coming here when they were children, and now they want to bring either their children or their grandchildren in to experience the same family feel.
It's not unusual to get 3 generations at the same table eating dinner.
That is lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely, and something.
We actually had a 4th last
Yeah,
week.
we had a table come in, showed me a child, and they said, Chris, this is the 4th generation of our family who've eaten at your restaurant.
Oh my
That was pretty cool.
goodness! Wow, that's something special about
It
the
is.
building. You were mentioning the chalkboard. Are there other artifacts that I'm seeing around in this room that were part of the original, left with the school, or?
You know, there wasn't a whole lot left when they left the building. Somebody else had owned it in between, and had used it for a number of years. And most everything, the original bookcase is over there.
Oh, okay.
And actually the doors that swing into the kitchen were the doors for the bookcase.
Oh.
So they're actually very original and very well used.
Yeah.
And the chalkboard, and I think my mom probably added the knick-knack shelving where she put all her stuff.
Yeah, she collected all
Her
the
stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. I love going to antique stores, and it's nice that you have a place to put your collection for everybody else to see.
Yep. So other than that, I think we do have one picture in the front hall that's of a windmill. That's pretty special that somebody donated. That was part of the original school when they were teaching. But Chris has got that in the front hall.
I noticed, so some of the things that people bring in, maybe I noticed there was a picture of the graduating class of 1940 of the students that went here. Are there other pieces of historical paper?
We end up getting people that bring lots of stuff into us, so we kind of look things over. One of the things out in the front hall is one of their, I believe it was their grandparents or great-grandparents, I'm not sure which, but it was a report card from 1898.
Oh, wow.
And it's so we mounted it on the wall out front, so people get a kick out of looking at that, seeing how old how long the school's actually been here.
Does it show the different topics?
It shows
of
the
study?
subjects and the grades. It's funny. It's a lot of the same stuff as we do. You know, the math, spelling. You know, just the
Mental
same
arithmetic.
yeah. So, but it's fun to look at just to see how it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed there was a small door on the outside. Is that just to a crawl space?
It's crawl space. It just goes underneath the building, the plumbing, and so you can get, something happens, you can get underneath
Under
the
building.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It's
The building itself has got like 18-inch thick walls. Which is one of the reasons that it's still here. Is it was a massive construction back for the time.
Apparently. Do you think it's important to preserve buildings like this?
Oh yeah, of course it is. It's well, to us it's a labor of love, and we love preserving the history and everything that's here. So that's kind of one of the reasons we're here, to keep it going.
Yeah, I would think so. And who would have thought back when they bought it in 1960 that we would still be serving similar meals in the same room? Do you have any plans to expand or grow?
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
They always used to say, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, obviously.
We
it's
enjoy
working.
what we do, and we enjoy the business. We enjoy the customers. We enjoy sharing the history. And it's interesting because there's so much history here, of odd things that we keep bringing up, and different people like to know different things. So it is just kind of, as he said, a labor of love.
What are these unique things? Tell me one of the stories.
Jeff had noted on the bricks, and the brick walls are all 18 inches thick. So that's why it's standing. And the interesting part is when the construction in the 1860s, they actually brought the clay over from the Little Mine River. And they fired, in the side yard here, they fired all the bricks. So if you look through and look at all these bricks, you'll see some darker bricks and some lighter bricks and different color changes. Those are all where it was in the kiln while they were firing them.
And they fired them on site.
And they fired them on site.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
How neat. And here it shows the quality and craftsmanship as we're
And like
sitting
the
in front of
foundation
it.
is all creek, it's all creek rock
Right.
from the river.
From the Little Miami. And is the wood the original wood?
Yeah.
It still is as well. That's rare. You don't get that as often.
This is a yellow, is it yellow pine?
Yeah.
It's a very rare and actually it's probably extinct now. So these floors are pretty much,
There are no
A
knots
treasure.
in the wood at all. It's just,
yeah.
No, there are no knots. You're right. Now
No.
that I look at it. Interesting.
The upstairs theater floors in much better shape, and it's real pretty.
Just from
shiny.
just from
Lack
less
of
use.
use.
Lack of use.
Where do you see the future of the Schoolhouse restaurant?
Just carrying on. We're not. We're just going to keep going until we can't anymore. I guess at this point in time.
That's exactly what
yeah.
you do. It's certainly knowing about 4 generations coming to this restaurant. I mean, you're obviously doing something for the community. So driving here, I'm driving through suburban area, and then all of a sudden it gets pretty rural, and then I see some goats in the backyard. Tell me about these goats.
We have we're sitting on about 7 acres here, which is part of the ambiance of the place, I guess. But
Yeah.
and the restaurant does get busy, so we kind of have a lot to do outside for people when they come. We have we're right next to the Loveland Bike Trail, runs basically all the way along our property to the back. So that's created a lot of traffic, I guess you could say.
And the bike trail used to be
The railroad tracks.
okay.
So
all right.
that was the tracks. The reason Camp Dennison was put here was because the railroad tracks right there. They could transport troops in and out and do all this stuff. So a huge part of the development of the area was because of the railroad tracks.
Wow.
So we have that, and we also have a goat pen in the back where kids can come and say, what are those? Because they've never seen a goat before. And we have a little store in the back also for some overflow, just a kind of a casual place to look at some vintage items back there. We also sell goat food for kids and big kids too. Adults
Yeah,
love
I'm
to do
sure.
it too. It always brings a smile to your face when you feed a goat.
Yeah, it
And you
does.
just can't help but smile. So. But we, like I say, with the property, we've got a pergola outside for parties or groups and stuff like that. So it's nice being on a piece of property this big.
Yeah, and with the 7 acres, is it mostly mowed or is there
All mowed, all
mowed?
maintained.
Who does that job?
I do a lot of the stuff outside. I don't do a lot inside, but I kind of oversee the outside.
Everyone has
area.
their own
And
place.
we all have
Yeah.
our little
We
responsibilities.
just like to have the ambiance. Jeff makes sure everything looks good, and we make sure the grass looks great, and people can come out here and relax and breathe. It's like a step back. It's like a flashback, step back in time.
It's
and that's
needed.
kind of the ambiance that we like to give to our customers. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the general store, if you could. Was that something that your parents had added?
No, actually, we started that it's been out there almost 30 years now. But it was actually a pole barn that our dad put up, when he first bought the property.
The general store used to be a pole barn?
It was actually it was a horse barn. My dad loved to raise horses. So he had stalls and the hay loft and everything else back there, stored all the equipment to maintain the building out there. And then about 30 years ago, we converted it over, finished it off, and turned it into a gift craft furniture store, a lot of vintage items, just kind of, like I say, more of a part history, part
But fun to walk through
yeah,
anyway.
but just a lot of stuff. Grandma's attic, we call it, because it's got
Yeah.
so many different vintage items in it and stuff. Yeah.
I imagine that when you were a kid, you were saying you were around pretty much here all the time. How far did you live from the actual restaurant?
We actually lived about 5 miles up the road in Madera.
Okay.
So we've always been close, and we still live right. Bethel still lives in our parents' house.
Oh,
Chris
okay.
bought a house right over here, in Camp Dennison.
he's in Camp Dennison.
And I'm right up in Loveland now, so
Yeah.
we're all still very close.
We're all around.
Yeah.
We're close.
Yeah. And that keeps you close,
One traffic light to work.
right? Fantastic. Let me ask another question about this community. You were mentioning earlier to me, Chris, about all of the different names and what makes this one spot. It's Camp Dennison. It's Sims Township. What else is this area?
We're Indian Hill School District. We are Hamilton County Police. We are Loveland Fire Department. So we're just...
You really are in the center of it all. This is fantastic conversation. Thank you all for sharing your time and everything at the Schoolhouse restaurant, which was the Camp Dennison School in Sims Township, Ohio. Thank you for watching another edition of History in Your Own Backyard. Today I was with the Miller family who run the Camp Dennison School, which is now the Schoolhouse restaurant. We have Chris, Jeff, and Beth. My name is Chrissy Morgan. Remember, travel slowly and stop often.